Okay. First of all, thank you for being here. I know a lot of you are busy. I thought this was probably the most and the best way to get everybody together instead of trying to do it in person. Everyone's extremely busy, so I appreciate you taking your Sunday afternoon and spending a little time with us. I thought it was really important for us to kind of, we're in a situation where we can kind of be ahead of the ball, which is a blessing. Pretty much a lot of our teams are complete, so we can kind of talk about expectations, those types of things, recruiting, and just kind of answer questions as we go as well. I have like a PowerPoint presentation I'll share the screen with. And then if you guys have questions at the end, please fire away and we'll kind of go from there. I want our coaches to kind of introduce themselves. Couple of them are not here. They're coaching right now. They're coaching our youth team. So it's a good thing they're not here because that means they're winning. So they're in the championship or semifinal game this afternoon. So let's, Colton, you can go ahead and let me mute myself and go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So yes, I'm Coach Colton Hafey. I am the 17U boys head coach for the spring and summer season. And I also coach the youngest group of the boys section, which is the third grade team. But I'm really excited and looking forward to a great opportunity to continue to help our student athletes grow off and on the court and just continue to give them opportunities to chase their dreams. And, a lot of them have aspired to go to college, and I coach at the college level at a small school, and I love it, but it's not easy. Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make. There's a lot of work that you have to put in, and you have to stay determined and continue to collaborate with others. So I'm just looking forward to working with all you guys, and I know the girls' side is going to do wonderful things as well. So thank you guys for your time this evening.
Big Al, go ahead.
I'm Coach Alan Tate. I'll be coaching the 17 Blue, and I'll be also coaching with Coach Nick on the elite squad on the girls' side. Just extremely excited to get everything started. I've been with EBC almost 10 years now, and I love the development part of it. Love watching kids grow on and off the court, the confidence and everything. So just a little bit about us. We're going to give your kid 100% every time. We're going to be active, try to stay on top of them and hold them accountable to everything, and just push them to be the best they can be on and off the court. Just my expectations is just to make sure you just give everything you have. Effort is everything, and be a good teammate, because it's all about how we treat each other. And we always talk about family. We always want to make sure we treat each other well. So those are the things I just expect. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Al. Ebony, where is Ebony? Evers, is she here? Nope. Okay, I thought she was on here. Okay, we'll move on here.
Did you put your uniform in?
Hang on. Here we go. Evers. Ebony, you there?
Yeah.
There she is. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I lost connection.
It's all good. Go ahead and just introduce yourself real quick.
Oh, hi, I'm Coach Ebony. What were you guys saying with your introductions?
Just what team you're coaching, where you're at right now, just a little bit about yourself.
I'm Coach Ebony. I've been with EBC for like 6 years now. I'm coaching the 16U elite team. I also coach the 5th grade girls currently, and I am the head coach at Archbishop Murphy right now as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Ebony.
Yep.
I will share my screen here. Let's see if I can do this right. Can everybody see that? Thumbs up. Yes. Good. Okay. Let me get this out of the way here. Okay. So EBC, welcome to our program. One gym, one family. I'm sure a lot of you heard it. those that are new, this is something we don't take lightly. We mean it when we say it. We want to be a family when we do this. When you're a part of our program, we don't want this to feel like it's a one-way street. This is a two-way street. We're just excited to kind of get this thing rolling and build our relationships as we go here. Our program is, we call 5 pillars: love, honesty, trust, loyalty, and work. As you can see, when it comes to love, we're all about building a relationship with our players on and off the court. But the biggest, I think, difference maker from our program is that we don't have an agenda behind what we're doing. We really want to see your son and your daughter succeed on the court and off the court. If they want to play college basketball, great. If they don't, it doesn't mean anything to us. It's whether we can post your kid, that means absolutely nothing. Like that, I know we live in this social media world where everyone wants to post how great, this one player is. And we want to highlight everybody, and we want to highlight in every way that we can. Honesty, love and honesty go hand in hand. Constructive criticism will be something that we will always do, but at the same time, it's going to come to more towards that criticism is going to be positive, and we're going to continue to push your kid. At the end of the day, we're going to end up loving them way harder than we end up coaching them from that perspective. Trust. This is where your honesty with your players, this is where they start trusting you, and they run through a brick wall. This is something that once we hit this point, with relationships with your son and daughter, this is where kind of everything else takes care of itself. The loyalty and then the work. The work is probably the hardest, but it's the most exciting. Pretty much we want our kids to respect and understand that the little things are the most important things. Our players, the ones that do graduate, they end up, hang on here, somebody, I gotta mute something. Somebody's not muted here. There we go. Sorry about that. We want them to understand that the little things are the most important things. As everyone knows, just in life in general, if you're really good at the little things, usually the day-by-day stuff take care of itself. What we'll do in our program with these 5 pillars, we'll explain to them like what it means in a game, in a practice, and off the court. And like we said, everything has a two-way street with us. And our job is to fully get to these 5 pillars by the time the end of the season. And then obviously, when you graduate high school, these 5 pillars should be completely to the maximum that we can hit. And then we'll continue that relationship as life goes on. Lab sessions. This is something I've started. We do it not as hard as when I was a high school coach. But lab session stands for Life After Basketball. Pretty much what we'll do, we'll meet as a program twice a month via Zoom, or we'll do it in person. I think we want to change our model and try to do more of this stuff in person. It's extremely valuable. It's something that's probably the most important thing in our program, along with a lot of things, but this is by far the most important thing. As we want to, like seeing your son or daughter get to the full potential is exactly where we want to go. And I think doing stuff like this kind of helps them understand things in a different world. Before they step onto the college life, whether they're playing basketball or not, there's a lot of things that we feel that we could help kind of give them some nuggets to help them prepare for those times of their life. Okay, we're going to talk about kind of a little bit of our offense philosophy. In our program, we run a motion offense. It involves a ton of screening, spacing. There's a lot of little details that go into it when it comes to practice time. We do a lot of 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. We build things up. So we kind of paint the small picture, and then we continue to build it up, and then we paint the big picture when it comes to 5-on-5. so your son or daughter can kind of understand it. It takes time. The reason why we run it, it's a pattern-free offense. There's nothing that dictates it. The only thing that dictates it is the defense and how they play you. We want to play to our players' strengths. Then more importantly, we want to build our players' strengths, and we also want to add to them. We post up our guards and we let our, quote unquote, people say post players. I think times have changed, but we let our post players bring the ball up. We want them to be able to have the ability to bring the ball up. We want to, we're a fundamental based program, and we want to be able to, find different ways to challenge them and for them to work on their game with that. Shot selection. We will talk about shot selection a ton when it comes to motion. On the left-hand side, you see offensive shot breakdown, what it looks like. Zero dribbles is 44% of the shots that will succeed. So pretty much, as you can see, less dribble is going to be better. So more is less, and that's what we practice. We practice a ton of stuff without dribbling. They will dribble a very handful of times in practice, but they'll learn how to use each other, how to get each other open, and then for them to understand what a bad shot, average shot, and a perfect shot is with that. Our defensive philosophy, again, these are just generic things we talk about kind of from the ground basics of it. We're a no middle. We allow no middle. As you can see on the diagram, what it looks like. Allowing middle, as it says no, the offense is driving middle. Pretty much we want to be able to shrink the floor. Offense's philosophy is to get as much space. Defense, we're gonna turn around and play good defense and cut that in half and make people play on one side of the floor and kind of shrink their line of vision and shrink the game for them. How do we get this done? We call it a four-prong approach. Oops, sorry, let me go back. Stop the bleeding. So turnovers, shot selection, and defense. These are things that we'll break down over the course of the season. Turnovers, obviously, valuing the ball. Shot selection is kind of what we briefly talked about. And then obviously we need to learn how to play defense. And this is something that, again, I think separates us from other programs. We're going to teach your son and daughter how to play defense in a correct way and break things down. Yeah, it will be different in a way. That's the beauty of basketball, I think, especially from high school. They learn things. They get you get six days with them as a high school. And our job is to take what they learn from high school and enhance it and make it a little more simpler, but really get them really good at it. How you do anything is how you do everything. We're really big on this. How you train, how you prepare, how you get your body ready. Everything that you do, there has to be a purpose behind it. And there needs to be an understanding of why you're doing these things and the overall, what's the benefit that's going to benefit me as the athlete and how I can prepare myself to get better, just a little bit better one day at a time. The court is our classroom, so no different than kids go to class. The basketball court is the coach's classroom. This is a time where, our coaches can have time with them. It's important that they are there, they're ready, they're locked in, and they're ready to go. And that has to do with us as coaches getting them prepared and ready to go. And then balance among these components: athletics, academics, competition, sportsmanship, skills, and attitude. So we kind of feel those are the four ways that we can kind of get to where we need to go and kind of become the best teams and versions of ourselves. Here's what we have. Obviously, we have interest, we have the ability, and then we have a facility. Here's what we need. We need teamwork, effort, intensity, communication, competitiveness, commitment, fundamentals, and skills. Everything you see on the right-hand side, that's where we want to continue. That takes a learning curve and that takes time. This is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen at one practice or one weekend. This all happens as of the course of the season. And that's our job as coaches to get our kids there and to push them to get there in a positive manner. We're big on positive energy. When we say one gym, one family, we mean it. And these are two ways that we as a program and as a staff we call them energy givers and vampire suckers. Energy givers, as you can see on the left-hand side, is give your all. You're sacrificing what's better for the team and not your individual self. You're working together, you're paying attention, you're ready, you're cheering on others, and you're doing what is asked. Vampire suckers, you're wander off, you're not prepared, you're late, or you're missing things, you make excuses, you're forgetful, you try to avoid either a competition or you try to avoid things that you don't want to deal with, and you sulk and pout. The sulk and pout one is the one I think that we are going to look at the most. We have a very, very good staff, and I think we are all in this together. Whether our coach is on the bench that is not part of your team, or your coach that is there, that is something that we will pay attention to a ton, is their body language when they're off the court. We can talk more about this when it comes to the recruiting side of things, but this has to do with life. Everyone in here is successful. Whether you own your own business, you work wherever you work. It's not fun to be around people who sulk and pout and who want to make excuses of why they're not getting things done, or so we're trying to kind of get a couple steps ahead of that to help them with life. Parent involvement. We model sportsmanship, support your son or daughter's interest, passion, and effort. Volunteer, please get involved, help us when needed, and attend games. Here's one thing I'll say when it comes to evaluation period time. I think some people put a lot of stress on their athlete, whether it's your son or your daughter, and I think it's really stressful for parents as well. The biggest advice I can give you is your son or daughter is not going to get a scholarship over one game, and your son or daughter is not going to lose an opportunity because of one game. Your son or daughter is going to get recruited by a particular school because of it's what they need, and they know that player's ability. Just because they have a bad day or even a bad weekend, don't put extra stress on yourself and thinking and overthinking it and thinking, oh my gosh, this coach is nowhere near, they're not going to recruit me no more, or, and you know what, to be honest with you, if that's the case, and it's more of a blessing, because that just wasn't going to be the right fit for you in the first place with that. Parent coach parent relationship. Again, this is I call it a triangle scheme. This is something that we take very seriously. It's going to take all of us together in order to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Again, whether you're going to play college or not, we want you to have a great experience. We want to get the maximum out of your son and daughter. We want to kind of tap into their full potential as much as we can over the course of the 4 months that we have them. So it's an open door policy. Any private meeting that we have, we're only going to discuss your son and daughter and how they can get better, or whatever it is. If it's recruiting, or if there's something that we could help with, or whatever it is, we want to focus on that. We don't want to focus on our philosophies of how we want to teach it. We're not going to talk about any other athlete during that time. Again, your focus is just on your kid. You can, if you want to set up meetings, I'll give you contacts of information on how to do that. Please don't approach us right after a game. That's never good. You can talk to us. 24 hours is what we tell parents, is just give us 24 hours, and then we can set up a meeting to talk if there's something that needs to be talked about right away. Okay. Recruiting. As you can see, there's the levels of recruiting. You have Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, the NWAC, a National Junior College, and then the California. And it's broken up into ways where each division school, Division I, you can see there's up to 15 athletic scholarships. Division II is up to 10. Division III is all academic. NAIA, they have up to 8. Again, this is not, every school is different. NWACS, which is the community colleges here in Washington and in Oregon. National Junior College, those are junior colleges that are at a national rate, and then the California schools with that. So it's kind of broken down in what you can see with that. Here's the timeline for NCAA Division I. If you're a freshman or a sophomore, here's what you can't do. You can contact all the coaches that you'd like, but those coaches will not get back to you and they cannot contact you. Unofficial visits, you're more than welcome to do that. You can go to open gyms. You can meet up with the coaches within a mile of their campus. Emails and and mailers about their camps they can send out. And pretty much your freshman and sophomore years are going to be evaluation time. Our coaches at the college level, they're going to put it down, and pretty much what they do is they'll get lists and they start evaluating those players, and they kind of as a summer and as you get into the closer to the end of your sophomore summer, their list starts to get more smaller, so they start focusing more, and then things kind of pick up from there. Your junior year, you can see September 1st. You can have electronic communication via phone, text, email. March 1st, you can have home visits, official visits after the Final Four. Outside of dead periods, nobody can contact. So dead period is pretty much like July is a big month, obviously for recruiting purposes. April, March, there's times in those months where coaches cannot have any contact with anybody. Seniors, you can have all on-campus evaluations, home visits. They can do both fall and spring. November is a signing period, and again, things change, especially with COVID. You got all these players getting money and doing all sorts of stuff, so they can. There's things that tweak and change as each year goes on. Here's some recruiting basics. Priorities of the player. Got to figure out the level, where it's at, the academic piece of it. If you know what you're doing, or you kind of have an interest of what you're doing, kind of figure out what schools have the degrees you're looking for, and opportunities to play, the total cost. Is it a winning program? The relationship that you have. Pick a school not based just on basketball. Pick a school that you think is going to fit your overall, what you're looking for. Here's what college coaches' priorities are. Your character, obviously talent, and their need. And their need means there's so many players out there, and there could be a player that's a Division II player or a Division III player, but that school doesn't want that particular person. That does not mean your son or daughter is not that level of a player. It just means that school either has a point guard or they have people that have already committed that they don't need. So we're looking for your effort and your passion, whatever regions. And then again, like I said, their roster, kind of figuring out where they are and what they actually need. What does recruiting look like? How do I know if a school is interested? Letters. They could be handwritten, the head coach is involved. You're getting phone calls and text messages. They're coming to our games. Some will come to your high school games. You're getting invited to their elite camps. Freshmen and sophomores, I can't express this enough. Figure out kind of what schools you want and start going to elite camps. It's a really good way to get in front of them. They request you to come to a visit. Obviously, you get an offer, and then you're getting that constant and consistent contact with somebody from the staff. You're on their list, but are you a priority? Social media follow. You get some kind of form of a letter, again, invite to an elite camp. Inconsistent contact, that means, again, you're on their radar, but there's other players in front of you. Inconsistent text messages, and then also it always being the assistant. Again, early in the process, freshmen, sophomores, again, you're not going to get much of this. Even juniors, you're going to get a lot with the assistants. By the time you get done with your summers, head coaches will start getting involved. So don't think even now, if you're getting recruited by just assistant coaches, that doesn't mean a bad thing. It just means that you're right there, and you're on your way to going where you need to go. How do I get recruited? Fill out questionnaires. So online. There's going to be questionnaires. Most schools will send them to you. You can find them on their websites at every particular school. Fill out their questionnaires, especially, again, freshmen and sophomores. Email your colleges of interest, create a short highlight video, add your best high school basketball game, and provide contact. So this is why we talk about sports recruits, which we'll talk about in a little bit here with sports recruits. But this is why it's extremely important for those who have interest in playing in college to get your sports recruit pages filled out. Coaches, red flags, poor treatment of teammates, lack of effort, too cool, how you take your coaching. Again, this is the beauty of coaching. There's so many different styles, and I think that's why it's really important that coaches want to see how you take coaching from AAU to your high school program. They're all very important. They want to, again, goes right to the next one, your body language. They want to see how your body language is with those players and with those coaches. Again, they're different dynamics, and they want to see how you are in every dynamic. Lack of eye contact, talking poorly to their current coach, or even when you are on calls with coaches. If you're putting down, like, let's say there's a player recruiting and they hate me, Coach Nick, and they go, well, yeah, Coach Nick, he's not very great, and you kind of put that stuff down, and those are red flags. And then again, parent that does all the talking. So this is something they don't want to see. As they get older, they want to hear just from the athlete. The parent getting involved too much, or the parent that's crazy on the sidelines, they see all that. They ask us those questions. They ask me those questions. It's all extremely important in the decision for them. So, and we don't have any crazy parents in our program, thank God, but you see it when we go to other places, or you see parents all the time acting crazy. Those will affect your daughter or son's recruiting, I promise you. Communication with coaches. So you guys need to have a plan, knowing what you want, follow through with it, do your research, and have a set of questions ready to ask the coaches and the players. So we'll help you with having a plan. We've got templates to send out to you. We can give you templates. You can use exactly it, or you can just kind of take a look at it and use it however you'd like. The follow through part is important. And this is for anything just in life when it comes to it. And I do this a ton. Every week, there's a set of coaches that I will reach out to, and it's important to build those relationships and stay consistent with those coaches as much as you can. You're not bothering them, especially if they're taking the time to recruit you. You never will bother them. It's always good just to keep in contact and do your best to try to keep yourself at the front of their brain. What can I do to assist in the recruiting process? Here are some questions that you can ask. How do you see me fitting into your program? What is a typical day, preseason, in season, and off season? What does that look like in your program? Total cost. How do you handle class conflict in season and with practice? Where do I fit within your recruiting list? And again, this is why we call it the triangle, because we're all in this together. We can help with questions. Lean on us. Lean on anyone that's in your guys' circle, people you trust. It's excuse me. It's really important to ask questions, and there are going to be difficult questions as you get into the process that you are going to have to ask, because it's very important for you to know so you can make the right decision with that. I will say this is something that is very, I think, unique again in what we do. We've had over 50 players, boys and girls, play collegiately. On the girls side, we have had 0 girls transfer schools, and on the boys side, we've only had 2 players transfer schools. So again, we take a lot of time, and it's really, really important to us that we find that right fit for your son and daughter, so they can have a 4 years of, fully having a good experience with that. Advice: ask the players who don't play a lot about their experience. So when you guys get into this process, it's important to ask those players who play on those, certain universities that are recruiting you and see what they have to say about the program. Look at which type style players are successful in that program. Something that, freshmen, sophomores doesn't really, this doesn't really go with what you are at. Juniors, definitely. Some sophomores, if you're, getting recruited, what level am I? This is just an example. 5 schools are recruiting you. 1 is a Division I and 4 are Division II. Sorry to break it to you, but you probably are a Division II player. If you're not getting recruited by Division I schools at all, even contacts, you're not there yet. So I know it's kind of brutal and honest, but I don't want you we're not going to sell you a dream and then you not be able to follow up and get there. We're going to be honest with you where we see you. If you're freshmen and sophomores, absolutely you can get there. If you're a junior and you're still not really getting recruited much, and you think you're Division I, Division II, Division III, or whatever it is, you got to figure out what level is the correct level for you. Be persistent. You and your performance gets you recruited, not your high school or club coach. We have a ton of advice we'll give. We're going to have your son and daughters back. We're going to speak very highly of them. We're going to put them in situations to where they will get seen. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to perform. And again, this is something I don't want you to put unnecessary pressure on yourself. It's nerve-wracking. I get it. We're going to do our best to kind of kick those nerves and teach them how to calm down and just play the game. But do not put any unnecessary stress on yourself. You do not need exposure to be seen to be recruited. If you're good, coaches will find you. This is like exactly what I think AAU has a bad reputation about. People think that you have to go to these EYBL or these big national things to get recruited. It's not the truth. You can go to any program. If your son or daughter is good enough, they're going to find you. And yes, you do need to have relationships. That specific program or coach needs to have relationships to get them seen 100%, which we have that. But don't think that you have to go to these big old things to get recruited. I promise you, our program is we've done it. We've done it for a long time, and we've helped players get to where they need to be and find the right fit for them. Okay, sports recruits. I'll kind of walk you through a little bit, but for those of you that don't have profiles, you can email me. We can help you. I just need your, the correct email. Pretty much your first thing you need to do, which I think a lot of you on the boys and girls side, make sure your profile is verified. Next thing is get a video on your profile. With that, highlight film. If you have good game film, put it on there. Then research schools that you might want to consider playing for at the next level. Here's what we want you to do. We want you to favorite at least 10. I said 20, but let's start with 10. And then from there, you can introduce yourself to those college coaches with that. And I'm going to show you what we can see from our end really quick. I'm going to use Sophia. She's popped up right here. Here's a kind of an example of what we want your profile to look at. Sophia's got, her height, weight, GPA, where she goes to high school. She's got videos on here, which is phenomenal. Again, and then adding videos on your own profile, I can just kind of walk you a little bit through that. Put a little bit about yourself here. You've got, your parents' information over here, which is great. Your athletes' email and their phone number. And then it's got their contact information. Put your high school coaches. And then, there's athletic honors, other sports you play, anything that you can put in here, fill it out. And then links. So if you've got articles, anything, you can add this to it. Any article could be from the newspaper, anything, you can add that to it, and then you put your schedule right here. So pretty much when we send an email, we'll link your son or daughter to this. And we'll say a brief note about them, how we feel about them, how we think they can, be a value to their program. And then from there, what we're allowed to do is we can go back and check. Let's see here. So we can check all athletes, and you can see here, we can see if they've sent any messages, how many times they've logged in, how many schools they favorited, who's viewing their schools, what schools are viewing it. So it's a neat thing. It's something that we'll be on top of. We'll be checking just to see where things are at. Here's another kind of unique thing that you can use when it comes to trying to figure out where you want to go. It has every school in the country on this thing. You can go to academics. You can say you want a school less than 3,000 people, between this. You can do all sorts of things. I can click that. And you can figure out, exactly where they want from a business perspective, or if I want science, you can do all sorts of things. And then what you can do is it eliminates a bunch of schools, and you can kind of go from what you're looking at, what you need from that perspective. You can go by region on this as well. You can with athletics, you can narrow it down to Division 1, 2, again, all the community colleges. So there's a lot of information on here, and with that, but we want you to use it, especially, if you're serious about, playing at the college level. We want you to use this as much as you can. Let me go back to this. So what we want to do, as soon as you're done with all 4 steps, here's what we want you to do next. We'd like to set up a meeting with you. Again, we can do this over the phone, in person, over Zoom. There's who you want to contact. With that, we'll set up a meeting with you, and we can kind of help you with the next steps with this, and answer any questions that you might have specifically to recruiting with that part. Travel, we have travel dates out, the schedule set. Families are responsible for travel. We want to get, this is why one of the big reasons why I wanted to get this done with now, so you guys can kind of start booking your tournaments. For flights, all we ask is for parents and players to be there the day before. So like, for example, if you have a tournament July 20th through the 24th, we just ask you to be there the 19th. What we'll do from a staff perspective, if there are certain athletes that need help, as far as like parents can't go, we'll find out and figure out a way to help your son or daughter. We've been able to help everybody and figure out who they can kind of room with and stuff like that. With that, hotels will provide a link for you. You just book into it, everybody stays there. If you, again, and then you kind of go from that perspective with the hotel part. Again, we'll get these hotel links to you as soon as I get them all back. I'll shoot it out via email, and then you guys can start booking into those with that. With that, that's kind of everything. I know it's a ton, it's a lot. I can't say this enough. I can't stress it enough. We are honestly, like, it means a ton that you picked us to be part of your son and daughter's growth. And we're in a very stage of their life where they're, whether they want to play college or not, that it's very important that, you surround them with people that are going to put positive energy and help them grow. And we're just extremely thankful and excited that you chose us. We're going to do whatever we can in our power to, again, give your son or daughter the best experience as possible. And again, this is a team effort. We're going to do this thing together, and whatever questions, concerns, or anything that you have, please feel free to reach out to us, please. With that being said, does anybody have questions right now off the top of their head. You can go ahead and I'm gonna see here. Does anyone have any questions or concerns or anything with anything? No, oh, wow. Okay. Colton, you got anything to add? Alan? Oh,
And Gemma's been playing with you guys for a while, and I just have really appreciated all of the communication. And really, when Gemma's been gone on tournaments, we have 3 kids that are all also playing sports, and so it's just been, I just really appreciate how you guys have handled this and the travel. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that.
thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my thing cut out. Does anyone else have questions or anything? Everybody good? Colton, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I have just a couple things to add as far as like just kind of like the outlook of the season as well, and then some recruiting things. One, this is like it's an accelerated season, and you talked about it as well. Like, sometimes we'll go 2-3 practices a week. So just that commitment and understanding that the season is accelerated. So being to practices, if it's 2 practices a week, if there's a practice to add, it's important to be there because it's such an accelerated season and you're not practicing every single day. So if you missing a practice it's a big thing just because it's so fast paced, and being there is important for the chemistry of the team, as far and as for your development as well. So just being committed is an extreme for the season, and something that we ask from everybody. The next thing is just for like some recruitment things, as far as like, what we do, like for us to continue to recruit a kid at Northwest University, one thing that we look for is the kid to apply. It shows that the student athlete is actually interested in that school. It also shows you what kind of academic money that you can receive if, because most schools will give that at the 4-year level. So that just shows us what you can receive academically. That also shows us maybe we can give you some athletic money just because it kind of helps. You have good grades, so we want to reward that if, we're considering a walk-on, or a kid that we want to develop. So applying is really important, and it shows that interest from you guys. The next thing, at least for the boys side, I know and Nick, you can kind of let me know as well, but on the girls side, is the transfer portal something that's like very prevalent right now on the girls side?
It's nowhere near what it is on the boys'
Okay.
side. Nowhere near.
So at least from the boys' side, something to consider, if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or even senior, unsigned senior, that transfer portal, for example, we have at Northwest University, we have some scholarships to offer, right? One thing we're looking at is the transfer portal. There's 2,000 student athletes in there. You get older guys that have been through the college ranks that just want to have a great experience and be part of a great program. So that transfer portal has really hindered a lot of recruiting, for kids that are under the radar, maybe per se. So understanding that you have your goals and you have these aspirations of getting to a certain level, but I want all of you guys to keep an open mind for different levels that you may not be looking at right now. Again, keep your dreams, keep your goals. That's very important, but also being open-minded that you may have to go JUCO for 2 years or 1 year if your NCAA or NAI eligibility is ready, just because of that transfer portal. There's a lot of kids and there's not that much money going around. Some, you have those bigger schools that have a bigger pocket, a bigger wallet for scholarships, but then you have smaller schools. You have schools that doesn't have that budget. So you have to be open to different levels. But that's just kind of what I wanted to talk about from my experience of recruiting current unsigned seniors, as well as recruiting through the transfer portal, and just making sure that you guys keep an open mind to every opportunity if you want to play college basketball.
Thanks, Colton. Alan, you got anything to add or anything?
No, I just want to tell you guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know it's a lot of places you guys can play, but for you guys to choose EBC, it means a lot to us. This is our passion, and we really want to help you guys grow. Like I said, on and off the court. So once again, thank you guys for trusting us with this development and process.
Awesome. Thanks, Alan.
Do you guys get any Canadian schools, or do any athletes go that direction?
Great question. Yeah, absolutely. We actually had her name is Hallie. She ended up going to Alaska, Fairbanks, but she was getting recruited by Canadian schools. So we do, yeah, absolutely. She actually had a dual citizenship, so it made it even easier. So yeah, absolutely. We will reach out to Canadian schools as well.
Great.
Any other questions before we wrap up here? Anything?
Nick, are the coaches available during the winter break for parent coach meetings?
Yeah, absolutely. Just shoot us an email, or you guys have our numbers. Just shoot us either or, and we can set up a meeting over break. Absolutely. I'll be home. I know Coach Colton, Coach Allen, he'll be home. Coach Allen's my neighbor, so we can
Nice.
so we can figure it out. But yeah, we'll be available. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay, well, again, thank you. We will definitely see, hopefully, everybody. We're trying our best to make everybody's games. So send us your guys' schedules as well. We're going to do everything we can to make everyone's games at least once. But we really appreciate your time. I know it's Sunday. Seahawks are playing. I don't know if they're winning or losing, but I appreciate your time. And again, we're super excited for this season, and lean on us, and we'll lean on you guys, and we'll get it all done together. So if you got anything, just let us know. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Take care.